All right. Welcome again. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, my people. Welcome to the Mama Africa Show. This show is for Africans in the diaspora, that is Europe, USA, Asia, even in Antarctica. Wherever you are, we are bringing you some nice stuff. Today we're going to have, of course, our hot topics, and then we're talking about our strive, our thrive, our challenges, the wahalas we go through in America as immigrants. And then, of course, in this show, we are going to have our mother tongue section. And before we even go further, I just want to say this show comes to you every other Friday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And I am Anna Molago, aka Mama Africa Anna, and I am so happy, blessed to be on the mic with you today. All right. Today we have a show that is as sweet like honey. Oh my goodness. We have an amazing guest with us today. This is Omega Tawonezvi. Look at me, an African, messing your name up. You got to find me, Omega. Find me big, eh? And definitely, she's going to talk about her struggles, her thriving, her challenges, the wahalas, and the gift that she's giving us today is her passion for us, the mother African people from the diaspora. She's definitely going to talk about, her organization, her company, her passion for us that has made us come here to America, but not forget our motherland, our mother tongue, and the fact that we have to be in the process and the place and the society of Ubuntu. I think her organization is a one-stop shop for everything African and immigrant. And of course, we're going to have our mother tongue section. And of course, she's going to speak in Shona and give us 2 proverbs in Shona. I am excited. I can't wait. And we also have our hot topics. And today in our hot topics, this is hot. News around the world is hot. Do you want me to go on and start talking about the news around the world? Because it is hot. And coming back with that, we're going to come back with our news around the world. So let me just go to some music a little bit so we can wait for you to come in. It's hot today. If you cannot say my name right, then you have no right to tell me to say water if I know it as water. I mean, what is the meaning of this conversation, and what is the purpose of communication? To drink water or to say water? So honey child, please, if you have not walked in my shoes, you have no say in my world, and don't you dare command me to walk in your shoes, because I love the smell of my feet, the feel of my shoes, and the history of my life. All right. I am here with you. News around the world. I do not want to waste time, but in Kenya, oh my goodness, the Gen Z have taken over. And we had what is called the finance bill protest in Kenya. And it's more than just the finance bill. I don't even want to say so much, because later on, I'm going to be joined by my friend Ali Badawi, where we have our music section. Today we are going to have our political section, where we are going to talk about what's going on in Kenya, what is happening, what are the Gen Z teaching us. So definitely don't miss that section. It's going to come after our guest has spoken. Oh Lord, and let's go to America, where we have Biden. Is he stepping down? That's something else. Did you watch the debate? Well, oh my goodness. And you know what Trump has been talking about? He said, man, he came in and conquered. But I don't believe he did that. I don't think Biden should step down. I don't know if he'll step down. But all we can say is that right now we are in a very, Omega, when you are in a ship, and then it starts just going like this, wavering. That's why we are in America. We don't know where we are going to stop. Last but not least, the heat wave in America. Oh, today was 97 degrees. And you know what I say, Omega? If you want to lose weight, this is the perfect time. I mean, just sit in your car, do not put any AC, and keep driving. Man, you are going to sweat it. So before you know it, you have lost 10 pounds. Just like that. And do not thank me later. You will be sweating like bullets. Before you know it, you got your weight that you needed. You know, people like me who have been struggling with weight for a long time, summer is my best time. That's why I lose the weight. Because there's nothing I can do but just drive, no AC. And if I get high blood pressure, don't say I told you so. Well, but this is America, so please take care of yourself when it comes to the heat. It's too hot out here. Make sure you drink your water, hydrate, and you don't need to go outside if you don't have to go outside because it's hot in this, you know what. Anyway, we're going to go to our music interlude, and when we come back, we are going to start with our guest, Omega Tawonezvi, all the way from Zimbabwe. You know, you have to tell me the meaning to your name. When we come back, you got to tell me what it means, because the way even it sounds so good, Omega. I'm like, it has to have a meaning in there. It's just not even Omega in itself has a meaning. Now Tawonezvi. So this is going to be our song that we come in with, and this song, of course, is of course I've had this song Asante many times. Asante is thank you, and we are inviting also, I want to say this before we continue, we are inviting a lot of independent artists to come, please, and so we can share our music. Send us your music, send us your stuff. We want to share it with you so that people know that, you know, we are here doing our work as musicians, as artists, and we are celebrating ourselves. We don't have to be in a big label. We can still have our music played, right, Omega?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, and so we don't want to waste any time, because I just wanted to hear what Omega has to tell me, because she has a lot of good stuff out there. So this is Asante. We're coming back with Omega.
Wewe ni Mungu Baba, twatoa shukrani kwa uhai wetu, ndio maana tunasema wewe ni baba yetu. Twasema asante kwa mema yote, ewe Baba, umetufariji na upendo wako, ewe Baba. Twasema asante, asante. Twasema asante, Mungu Baba, asante. Twaimba asante, asante. Twaimba asante, imba asante. Twaruka asante, asante. Twaruka asante, ruka asante. Twatoa shukrani kwa watoto wetu, ndio maana tunasema wewe ni mama yetu. Twatoa shukrani kwa maisha yetu, ndio maana tunasema wewe Muumba yote. Twasema asante kwa mema yote, ewe Baba, umetufariji na mema yote, ewe Baba. Twasema asante, asante. Twasema asante, Mungu Baba, asante. Twasema asante, asante. Twaruka asante, twaruka asante. Twaimba asante, asante. Twaimba asante, imba asante.
Tumshukuru Mwenyezi Mungu kwa yote aliyotupa. Unajua wanasema Mungu sio Athumani, ni kweli. Mungu si mwanamume. Thank you so much for that, and you know I'm thanking myself because that is my song.
Asante is my song. And I definitely want to say that the Asante means thank you in Swahili. And I did this song at the one studio called Bass Cliff Studios here in Bowie with my guy Vincent. If you want your music done right, go to Vincent Otieno. I am putting a plug out there for my brother or from another mother all the way from Uganda. But now we are going to Zimbabwe. You know, I've always liked the people from Zim. I mean, I have two amazing comedians from Zimbabwe. One is, you know, my brother Kainga and Alfred, and the other one is Lenmo. I mean, these people have come to America and they have taken over. Forget, but you know, there were days that you are, as a comedian, you are like trying, you are shy, you can't speak with your African accent. Man, they are blowing up, they are making money with their African accent. So, and they are making us laugh. So, you know, shout out to Kainga out there, shout out to Lenmo, your sister is in the studio. Omega Tawonezvi, I got it right.
Yes, you got it right.
Yes, is an accomplished executive with a passion for serving underrepresented communities in the DC metro area. As the executive director of the Immigrant Community Services, Omega has overseen the organization's efforts to provide cultural sensitive services related to community integration, economic empowerment, community health to the minority, refugees, and immigrant population in the DC metro area. With a wealth of experience in community engagement and advocacy, Omega has been an active board member of the Southern African Community, USA, since 2013, and also African Affairs Advisory Group of Montgomery County. Since 2014, served as the chair in 2017 and 2018 as a co-leader of the Culture Working Group. Omega played a key role in promoting and educating the public on African culture, culminating in successfully organizing the Pan-African Festival for 7 consecutive years. I must tell you, I was in one of those festivals.
Yes,
I performed.
absolutely.
I didn't know it was you, huh?
Yes.
You know, thank you. We met, we performed and we were paid. Omega has worked Omega has worked with other Africans serving community-based organizations, including African Women in Cancer Awareness Association, Pacha Foundation, African Immigrant Caucuses, various houses of worship around the DMV, and many countries and hometown associations. Omega passion for community engagement and advocacy has extended beyond Montgomery County, as evidenced by her recent involvement in the organizing the inaugural Black Frederick Festival in Frederick County. You didn't call me for that. Omega also works with the women subsistence farmers and traders groups in Sierra Leone, helping build their capacity by providing entrepreneurship training. Day job, Omega is a project manager. Born in Zimbabwe, came to the U.S. for college, attended college in Nashville, and need I say more, she is now a Maryland resident. And Omega, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Anna, for inviting me to this show. I'm excited to be here, and I can't wait to see what we're going to talk about.
Well, I have so many things I want to ask you. I'm like, okay, everybody who comes to my show, because I only interview mainly immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, tell me your culture shock. Tell me the first thing when you came to America, you were like, hey, woo. So go ahead. I want to hear it.
So the first thing that I saw that shocked me when I came to America and was I got here to the U.S. on December the 23rd, so it was Christmas time.
Yes.
And of course I was excited. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to see snow and everything is going to be like what we used to see on the movies and stuff like that. So I got here at night, and the next morning I went outside and I opened the door and I was like, what? Have I landed in some like war zone or whatever? Because where we lived at the time as new immigrants, it was like the seedy part of town. Wow. So it was like in the project, close to the project. Yes. And I was like, oh my God, this is definitely not the America that I used to see, the Beverly Hills 90210 and stuff. So that was my first shock. But
was there snow there?
No, it was in Tennessee. You know, it doesn't snow in Tennessee.
And that's why we have you here. Because you have to talk about how immigrants, before they come to America, they need to do what is called a background check.
Absolutely.
Check where you are going.
Do your research.
Yes, do your research. So you came out there and you are just seeing people say, "What's up, man?"
Yes.
And you know your first thing they say, "Can I get your number?" Before they even ask your name.
I know.
Yeah. And that's the experience.
Oh my God.
The culture is different, but guess what? You stayed here and you are originally from Zimbabwe, right?
That is correct.
Yeah,
yes.
tell us about Zim. You know, I hear that Zim people carry money with their with their suitcases.
Yes.
Debunk that. Is it true?
We broke the record for having the highest level of inflation back in the day. We had trillions of dollars, but now we are on the dollar. We are dollarized now and using the dollar because our new currency is still up and coming.
What?
It is backed by gold, so we have to have our gold reserves up. But yeah,
What?
absolutely.
So therefore, you are using American money.
Yes, when you go to Zimbabwe, when you go to the ATM machine, it would give you dollars when you.
For real?
Yes.
So basically, what? That is even my guy back here is shocked. So basically, if you have 20,000 Zimbabwe money, is what dollars?
Yeah, you have 20,000 US dollars.
Ah, you're kidding me.
Yes.
Ah.
But it's a disadvantage, you know, because you wanna when you go home and
Yeah.
you wanna change the money and
Yes.
get the advantage of the currency exchange. So we don't have that.
You don't have no currency exchange. So basically, your money disappeared.
Everything is in US dollars. At the bank, when you go withdraw your money, they give you US dollars.
Listen, let me ask you. Let me see. Wine. Let me just think about wine. You drink wine?
Yes, I do.
Wine. For example, you can get wine here in America for like maybe $12.99. How much wine there in the Zim?
It's gonna be a little bit pricey. Maybe you're gonna get it for like $20.
Dang,
Yeah.
gone. Ay. So your life is more expensive than American.
It absolutely is.
So those Zims are not coming. People from Zim are not coming to
There's
America.
no advantage.
Yes.
There's no advantage of
Oh
coming here.
my
I think
goodness.
the only advantage is that you get to earn more money because, you know.
Yes, because the economy there.
Unemployment and stuff,
Yeah, and
yeah.
employment. So, but your money is the same money.
But if I send you $20,
It is
you're gonna get
$20.
$20.
It breaks my heart. No.
Yeah, but we have a new currency that is in process. So
Yes.
hopefully this will end.
What's the name of the
It's
currency?
called the ZIG, Z-I-G. So
ZIG.
yeah, so it means Zimbabwe, and the G is for gold because this new currency is backed by gold. Yeah.
And is the president doing a good job with that? Or you don't want to talk about that? That's political.
So he's doing the best that he can under the circumstances.
Under the
But we can
circumstances.
always get more improvement.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I want to talk about your because we don't have so much time. I want to talk about your organization, Immigrant Community Services. The reason it's so, I read about it a little bit, and it has 3 parts to it.
Right.
The economic development part,
Yes.
the community integration part, and there is the immigrant community part.
Right.
And so it's a one-stop shop for any immigrant who's come from any African country to get services. Tell me,
Right.
what was your motivation to start this organization?
So this organization started in 2012,
Yes.
and there was a large influx of immigrants coming into the DMV area, but there was an absence of culturally sensitive service providers. So when you go to the hospital, when you go to counseling or different types of services,
Yes.
Africans were just lumped in with all the other blacks,
Yes,
and we needed something that was more culturally appropriate
Yes.
to sensitize people. So that's how this organization started. And there was a need for people to get resources in a centralized location.
Yes.
Because when you come, you don't know where to go buy your cornmeal to make your
Yes,
ugali or your nsima or sadza, like
Yeah.
we call it. So these are some of the things that we provide: information, resources, where to get what, where to go and do this, and all that kind of stuff. So that's how this organization started. So we obviously want new immigrants to settle and integrate quicker and
Quickly, yeah.
smoother because you have to take care of yourself and your family.
Yeah.
So these services, information, we put it in one central location so you can quickly get it and use it to your advantage.
Okay.
Yeah, and we also recognize that when new immigrants come, not everybody can get a 9-to-5 job. So we want to, and we encourage entrepreneurship that's where the economic empowerment comes in.
Okay.
So we encourage people to set up, to get business plans. We teach how to do business plans.
wow.
We connect them with microfinance to start little projects and
wow.
that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then the community integration is tied to the resettlement. When you come in, you don't know where to go and register your child for school,
Yes.
or where to go and get the food that you know, where the restaurants are. So all that information is in one place in an app that we created called
Yes.
the MOCO Welcome Guide app.
Yes, yes, and I'm going to talk about that app very soon. But I just think that this is amazing because a lot of us, when we come out, come to America from different parts of Africa or even other parts of the world, sometimes we are like, if we didn't do our research, as we said earlier, we are like fish out of water, you know.
Absolutely.
And that's why you find that I always say this, if you get in and the family you are with is nurses, you become a nurse. Yes. If you come in and the family that we are working at McDonald's, you will work at McDonald's.
there,
Even though your motivation, even though your dream, even though your goal was different, it can sometimes take you a long time to really find your path because you are drawn to the people you are with. And so it's so important that you have this to tell people, you know, that's not the only option. Just like you said, you can come here and start your own business. Do you know how many people don't think like that? They think like, come here to look for a job. But you are saying you can give them microfinancing, whatever loans, or help them find them and start their own business. That's big. That's really big.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So I want to ask you something, because when you do this kind of advocacy, there's always something that says there are two things that happen when you are following your passion. You get to a place and it feels like, why am I doing this?
Exactly.
And then there's a place you feel and it's like, that's why I'm doing this. So I want you to tell me what the place you got, that you had such a gut-wrenching experience that made you say, that's why I'm doing this. It could be your experience or somebody's experience that made you realize, you know, that's why God wants me to do this. Do you have an experience like that?
Yes. So clearly there was I think I'm going to first share somebody else's experience.
Yes.
So I'm going to date myself here.
No problem. Old is they say old is gold. Old is gold.
So when back in the day when we had just come and we were students, and we lived in this city area that I mentioned earlier, there were a lot of refugees that had come. This is at the height of the Rwandan
genocide,
and destabilization within the region. So there were a lot of refugees who were coming through Catholic Charities. And there was one lady that lived in the complex that we lived in, because it was low income, so refugees could afford to live there. So I had my little car that I shared with my cousin, and on our car we had a rosary that was hanging down. And so this immigrant girl didn't speak English because she was new from Rwanda. She spoke French and knew nobody. But she always used to see this car parked and she had no clue whose car it belongs to. So,
and this is the apartment complex.
Yes, in the apartment complex. So she wanted to find a way to go to church. But she did not know how to ask people, where is church? But she was like, oh, these people must be Christian because they have a little rosary hanging. So she told me that she would wait out and stand outside in her window to watch when this car came back and parked, so she could see which door of the apartment we were going to, so she could go and knock on that door. So she said it took her like 2 weeks before she actually figured out where we lived and who we were and stuff. And then she came and knocked, and when she knocked on the door, she actually couldn't say, okay, this is what I need, but she motioned for me to come out, and I did, and then she pointed at the car, and then I was like, okay, is something wrong with the car? And then she then pointed to the rosary, and I was like, oh, okay, church, is that what? So I had to go and show her where the church was. So that's where this actually started, that this woman was so she was so lost. She was dropped in the middle of Tennessee and had no one who spoke her language, and she couldn't even ask for basic things that she needed things that helped her overcome whatever she had come from. So that was a personal experience that stuck with me all these years. And then when I could, I was like, I'm gonna do something about it.
That's deep. That's a really deep story, because just the other day, which you can't believe that in this day and age, people are still continuing, immigrants are still going through situations whereby they have no one around them.
Yes.
Because there is a lady actually on Instagram who was crying and saying that I have just come, I don't know people, there are no people around. And I was like, whoa, I didn't think that up until now. You know, I've lived here so long. I didn't realize that there are still people coming in who need us, who need other immigrants to say, hey, I'm here with you. Because she was actually thinking of going back home or doing things that were needed, really not cool, because she doesn't have a community here. So when you ended up showing her the church, you became friends, I'm sure.
We have been friends for all these years.
Wow.
And she went through classes, English language classes, and finally she got a job. And you not believe she became an engineer and worked for the U.S. Army.
Hey, hey, what? From a church lady to an engineer. Hallelujah. What? If my mother would be here, my mother would say, that's why you need to pray the rosary.
Exactly.
My mother is a strong Catholic. So, wow. What about your experience? You said you also had an experience. Me, I like experiences.
So I've had so many experiences, but I think the one experience that resonates with many immigrants is when you get here and you are like, oh, I'm finally in America, now I can get a job, I can work and buy all these things that I've always wanted to buy. But then you realize, okay, you need to have papers. You need to have some sort of documentation and stuff. So, but you don't know where to go get the documents, because unless you've come and you are staying with somebody who's gone through the process, then there's not. So that absence of information made me lose some opportunities that I could have taken advantage of. And I was like, okay, I don't want anyone to ever be in a position like this where they miss out on an opportunity because they didn't have the information.
Wow. Yeah. And so that's where we go into the MOCO, right? So this and so the company serves only Montgomery County, right?
So the company serves the DMV, the DC metro region, but the app started with just covering Montgomery County because we developed that app using funds from Montgomery County.
Oh, wow.
So the Office of Community Partnerships in Montgomery County gave us a grant to develop this app. And of course, we had to start with Montgomery County, but we are in the process of expanding it to cover the entire region.
Oh, that's because that's what I wanted to say. Please cover the whole of the United States of this America. Please, because we need it. Immigrants need it. And definitely I'm going to talk to you about the app. And the app in itself, tell us, what does the app have for the people who are new immigrants, or not only new, but people who are now settled, but they can share this app with other people? And how do they share it so that other people now can know, hey, this is a one-stop shop app where you can get a lawyer, you can find a place where to work, you can know where to take your kids to school, everything. Tell us more about the app.
Yes, so the app is it's an app that we developed with Mansa Core Labs.
Yes, my friend Sam.
Yeah, your friend Samuel, our friend.
Yes.
So with this app, basically the purpose is to put all resources in one place in easy access. So everybody now has a smartphone, so it's easy for you to get that information. And it has information, legal information, information for that helps people who are new and they want to process, to go through the immigration process. It provides all that information. The purpose of this app, the need for it actually was amplified because of the southern border. There are a lot of immigrants who are coming, who are being bused to different states because you know, Texas is overwhelmed. And then when they get there, they are just dropped somewhere and they don't have access to lawyers, they don't have access to anyone. So that's where this the idea of this app came from. So with the app, you can find it is in 3 different languages currently: English, French, and Spanish. And Spanish for obvious reasons. And so you can find legal resources, you can find healthcare resources, transportation, food, and other things that you need.
Tutoring services.
Tutoring services, we don't have them in there yet. So that's our next area. But if you want to find your community, so where am I, if you need are in a new area and you need to know where your Kenyans are, you can find them. If you want to know where their restaurants are, you can find them on that
Translators and interpreters?
Yes, translators and interpreters.
Work source, I think.
Exactly.
Places where they can look for a job.
Get a job or get assistance in building a resume or applying for a bank loan, those kind of things.
I mean, I think, the things that you guys are doing with Mansa Collab and your organization to come up with this app, it's amazing. It's something that we as immigrants need. And the way you're talking, it seems that it's not only for the African immigrants.
No, it's for
anyone. For any immigrant. And so that is even something even more stronger. It just doesn't care. It appeals exactly. It does appeal to me. It appeals to everybody out there, not only Africans but also immigrants from Asia, immigrants from South America, immigrants from. So it's really good. And I want it to be, if I can, I wish I had the money just to give you, hey, here, take, so it can be all over the U.S. Really, we need it.
That is our big plan.
How do we download the app?
So the app is available in the Android store, like Google Play, and in the Apple store as well. And it's called the MOCO Welcome Guide app. And I think I've sent you some links so you can share.
MOCO, right?
Yes, for Montgomery County. Welcome Guide app.
Okay.
Yes, so you can get it in any of those operating platforms, Android and Apple. And it's a free app. You don't have to pay for it. And it has all kinds of, like, if there's a new event that's happening in town, if you go under events, you will see, okay, this weekend there's a show from Tuku or from whatever. And so you still are caught up on social activities as well as serious things such as jobs and stuff like that.
And for all of us, you got to tell us it is free 99. It's free
99. Absolutely no fee at all.
It is free now. So please download the app. And it's not, I know you might be like, okay, I'm American now, I live here, but
there's always something new that you will learn.
It's always something new, and also you can share it, because what I want people to do nowadays is, the topic for this show today is each one, reach one, teach one. And that's what you did. You were one person. Not only that, you decided, I'm going to reach this lady and take the lady to church, and now you taught the lady how to fish, and now you're not only doing for yourself but you're doing for the whole community. And that's just inspiring. I just want to say, what advice do you have for immigrants settling in America?
So and I know we hear this a lot and we think it's cliche, but in America, you can do anything and you can be anything. You just need to, put your mind to it. And there's a lot of opportunities. It is the land of opportunities. So don't limit yourself. Your mind is the only thing that limits yourself.
And if you are in a home where it's telling you to be a nurse, say
please. To the yes. Go and do what you want to do.
Yes. And sometimes it's the truth is that our family sometimes cannot give you the support you need. But what you come to understand is that living in America, your family is not the only family.
Absolutely.
Your friends are good friends, good people who advise you can also be your family. Because for me, when I came, my mom and dad were all in Kenya. I'm the one who got here first. And to be honest with you, it was by the grace of God.
Absolutely.
And when God gave me opportunities to here is your American mother, I got American mothers. Here is your American fathers, I got American fathers, American uncles, and they're the ones who have protected me since then. And I still keep in touch with them, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be successful as I am. I wouldn't be now doing my own thing. But it was strangers who became family. And so sometimes we only think, oh, my family. No, you are friends who love and care for you and believe in you can be your family too.
Absolutely.
And I just like what you said, that you can do anything. It's true. You can do anything. But you got to tell them, though, it comes with hard work. Please do not be on Netflix thinking about you can do anything.
No.
Binging on movies and stuff. You got to sacrifice. Talk about the sacrifice.
You have to put in the hard work. You have to sacrifice. I always tell people that we used to have 2-3 jobs. I would go to school in the morning, from 3 to 11 go to one job, from 11 to 7 go to another job overnight, and then do that Monday through Friday until the weekend.
Yes.
So all this all this that we have and the experiences,
Yes.
they come from a lot of hard work and sacrifice.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
so true. I can tell you the way people will make fun of Jamaicans because I don't know why, they're about working many jobs, but Africans, we do the same.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Me, how many jobs I had when I got here? Oh, Lord. I was a nanny for like one house. Then one day I was taking this child that I was babysitting, and other families came, oh, you are a nanny? I said, yes, I can be your nanny too. I was a nanny for another family. And then after that, I was walking in the mall. I saw an African store. Where? I said, let me go find if there's a job there. I asked. They say, yes, you can come. I worked at an African store. Those people are still my family. So now I became, then one day, I don't know, a friend of mine told me, Anna, do you want a job at 7-Eleven? Ha! I was working.
Like, yes.
I was working 3 jobs.
Yes.
I was working 3 jobs, day and night. Sometimes you get so tired, you'll even be sleeping on the road because you have worked yourself. So sometimes also we have to know their limits. Do not overwork yourself. Sometimes you send that money home, instead of them using it, they are partying.
Oh my God. They are
worked.
living a better life than you are. They are living better.
Yes, so love yourself enough to say, I'm working, but I also have time for me.
Self-care
yes,
is very important.
Self-care is very important. If you need that money to go to Popeyes,
you can go to Popeyes. You just can't go every day.
Yes,
but
yes.
you can go to Popeyes.
Yeah. Now, advice for people who, like now we've talked about Zims. People in Zim, man, they don't even, if it wasn't for the job, they don't want to come.
No.
But what advice to people who want to come to America, those who have papers and those who don't have papers?
So you have to have a plan and some idea of what you want to do, how you are going to survive. Because unlike Africa in general, where the village is not going to let you starve, you know?
Yes, that's the
Here
truth.
you can actually do that.
You can be homeless. This place is has a jungle out here.
It is a tough jungle. So you can either make it or you can sink if you don't swim.
Yes,
So have a plan, know where you're going to go, create a good relationship with where you're going.
That's
and also
true.
be understanding that these people who are hosting me or who have taken me in, they have made some sacrifices. So don't expect a red carpet to be rolled out for you and stuff like that. Be prepared to put in the work. Yeah, whether you have papers or not. And if you don't, then you need to have a plan on how you're going to get those papers quickly.
Yeah, can you talk about people who don't have papers and they're in here and in America? How will you support them?
So for the people who do not have a documentation, what we
Yes.
do is we have we get funding grants from certain organizations that are sympathetic to that, and we try to find a path for them to get some sort of documentation and to regularize their papers. If that fails, then we also give them options to survive, like the creating of their little business and stuff like that, so they don't have to depend on formal employment, that kind of stuff.
Because I am Omega, me and you can talk about there are some unscrupulous ways of surviving.
Yes, and we don't want people to resort to those.
Because those ways, some people, it's a risk you take, but there are risks that come up with a lot of consequences.
Yes.
And so it's one thing to say, hey, I'll work with somebody social. It's another thing. Yes, when you put
putting yourself at risk and the other person at risk.
So there are so many things you can say, you can do, but it's not safe.
It is not.
But if you guys can help to offer self alternatives, that's the best way to go. So with that, do people need to contact you if they need to talk about their situation and they need help? How does the organization help in? How do we, if somebody right now calls and say, I need help with this and this and that, how do we find you? What's the website, the email, how? Or do they go to the app and put the information there? What's the best way?
So they can contact us by phone, or they can send us an email. They can also send a message via the app. And we can reach out. So our website, we also have a website. It's immiserve.org. So immiserve.org. And we have a phone number. I'm going to give that to you. And they can send us email at info@immiserve.org.
Can you spell that for them, please?
Yes, so INFO at immiserve. Immiserve is IMMERSERVE E. Look at me trying not to know how to spell.
Yes, okay.
Immiserve. So IMMISEVERE.
Oh, SEVERE. Okay.
So Imi and then serve as in service.
Okay. Serve SERVE then. Yeah.
IMMISERVE.
Yes.
We finally got it.
What's going on now?
This English business.
This no, it's not. That's why we're. Thank you for saying that, because that's why we're going to our mother tongue section, because we have to let them know that we have our mother tongue.
Exactly. And our phone number I'll give you quickly. It's 240-780-8088.
240-780.
8088.
Fine. And okay, and then because of time, we're going to go to our song by Tolumide called Naturally Me. But before we do that, how can we find you also on social media?
So we are on Instagram. We are also on Facebook.
Yes.
And our handle is immiserve _MOCO for MOCO.
Okay.
So immiserve _MOCO.
Immiserve _ in Instagram.
Yes. And
at
Facebook.
Immiserve _MOCO. Man, this, you know what? I know many people, Omega, who may need your services.
Okay, send them our way.
Those who need paper, those who don't have documentation, those who do. Because it could be something to do with work. It could be something to do with health. We haven't touched that too.
Yeah.
People who don't have health insurance and they need health insurance. It could be something to do with, legal advice.
Right.
And also something about parenting and, taking children to schools when you just settle in with schools, because people don't understand that you have communities.
Absolutely.
And if you live in a county, your child has to go to that zone.
Yes. You have to be zoned. Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's so much to learn when you come in. But two things we have said today. Number one, do your research before you leave your country. Number two, when you come here, be loving, kind. Don't expect a red carpet. Work hard, and know you have a time limit in that house. Don't stay there 2 years.
Exactly.
6 months is that's it.
And you need to roll with the punches. I mean, you have to be flexible until you are finally on your own.
But the most important thing is that you have a community, which is the Immigrant Community Services that can be of help, and also the app MOCO that can be of help. And so you know that there's always us here to help you. So I just want you to, before we wrap up and come back to our mother tongue, what is your final shot you can tell any immigrant, any person from any part of the world?
So I guess what I can tell, because most people they don't want to hear things like "don't come," or because they're like, "Oh, you are trying to block the door for us. You want to try to be a gatekeeper."
Yes.
So all I can say is, America is the land of opportunity. If you have the opportunity to come at least once in your life, you should be able to do it. But be prepared to work hard. And
do they come? Do you advise to come documented or undocumented, or
please
it doesn't matter?
Come documented as much as possible. That will make your life easier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this has been amazing. Find Omega Tawonezvi on social media. We are taking a short break with my sister Tulumide, bringing us Naturally Me. Enjoy her song as we come back with the mother tongue section.
Everything
Oh wow, naturally me. Oh, that's my sister from Nigeria. She lives in DC, and that's Tulumide. Check her out on YouTube. Check her also on her Instagram page. And of course, check us out. You know, this is Mama Africa Show. This is our 3rd episode. We come to you every other Friday. You know, Mama has to do many things. I cannot commit to every Friday. So every other Friday. And we bring you like amazing, wonderful people from Africa and from different parts of the world. Not only Africa, but my main focus is African immigrants. And they speak about their challenges, their thrive, and you know, and also how they have succeeded and trying to pull others up. We are doing this. It's called the Ubuntu way, you know. And that's why we're saying each one reach one, teach one, whereby we have to really support each other. We have to pull each other up. We have to be there for one another. Don't say, you know, hey, I have a business, it's successful, but when somebody asks you, how did you succeed in this business? You don't want to share that information. That's not good, because God says there is enough for everybody in this world. So now, and so please check us up on YouTube, Mama Africa Anna, and subscribe. I need subscribers so that I can pay for this show. Please, oh, it's serious. Subscribe on our YouTube page, Mama Africa Anna. Please subscribe. There is my comedy there. There is some music there, and of course, this show is there. And also, what else? You can see me, find me on my Instagram as Mama Africa Anna, on my Facebook fan page, Mama Africa Anna, TikTok, Mama Africa Anna, and YouTube, Mama Africa Anna. The only place I'm not Mama Africa Anna is on Twitter, or is it X? Just find me as Anna Mwalago. So let's go to our mother tongue. There's nothing as beautiful as our mother tongue. It's just amazing. It's like, it's so sweet. It's like food. And there's something that is so amazing with the African language, is that all natives, all mother tongues had proverbs. We learn through proverbs.
Yes.
And so tell me the 2 proverbs that your mother always said. Say them in Shona, and then after that, just tell us what it means.
Sure. So one of the proverbs that I want to share with our listeners today is a proverb that goes in Shona. It says, Sango rinopa waneta.
Now, you do not talk like that.
Yeah.
So say it like the way you are talking.
The way I would say it. Okay, so normally I would say Sango rinopa waneta.
That's it.
Yeah, so but I wanted to break down. It's just 3 words. So Sango rinopa waneta. Sango rinopa waneta. So basically the meaning of this is that Sango is forest, and rinopa is to give. Yes. Kupa.
Yes.
And kuneta is to get tired. So it's basically a word of encouragement that you have to things don't come easy. You have to work hard for it, and then it will finally give you. So the forest will finally reward you after walking through it. It's not, you're just not gonna get there and pick up all the fruits that you want. You have to walk through, and so you have to work hard before you can get your reward.
I like that, because I think there's also a Swahili proverb, and proverb in Swahili are called methali, whereby is ahangaikae sana najua ajua. Basically, the one that strives and works hard through the sun knows something, will get something. Yes. Oh, that's beautiful. Yes. Give me the other proverb.
The last one is kumunga kunaipwa. So
wait, let me say it. Kumunga kunaipa. Hey! Ipwa.
Yes.
Me, I know I'm Shona. Kumunga kunaipa.
You see, you got it. You're definitely Shona.
I am Shona. I told you that my mother tongue, Taita, and Shona are like brother and sister.
Absolutely.
Their words are similar.
Very.
Kumunga kunaipa. What does that mean?
So this means that so it's like been there, done that. Yeah. So it's someone who's saying kumunga is like, munga is a crop, like wheat.
Yes.
So wheat is very similar to this other sweet it's like a sugar cane called Ipra. So they look very similar.
Yes.
And if you are inexperienced, you might think the munga is Ipra. So this saying is saying that we've been there, we've already tested this munga, so we know it is not Ipra. Yeah.
So by being there, done that.
Yeah. So listen to people who have had the experience.
Yes.
Because they've already gone through that.
Yes, it's basically as a kuishi kwingi kuona mengi. Those who have lived long see more.
Yes.
Yeah, and so don't think like you know too much, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes stay with the elders, they can teach you one or two things.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, I tell you one thing. If we could just learn through Proverbs, we're good. We don't need to go to school and learn math.
That is true. We don't need calculus.
Just teach us life. Kumunga, kunaipwa. That is it. And thank you so much, Omega. You have been a wonderful guest. There's so much wisdom you have given us, but the knowledge, the information, and I'm really sure that this, I have an assistant who does great work. Her name is Georgia, and I know she's gonna get the snippets and she's gonna share it on Instagram and everywhere. So one thing I want to assure you is that people might be DMing you and asking you where can they get the information you're talking about. And also definitely we want to thank Sam of Mansa Collab, because he's the one who be emailing me, texting me, calling me, Anna, you need Omega in here. I said this was amazing. This is what I needed.
That's Ubuntu right there. See how we work together on different things.
Yeah. So thank you so much. We're gonna go back to a little bit music while we bring in Ali Badawi. And today, this part is usually when we do our music, independent music from different African countries or people who live here but they are from the continent. But because things have been boiling hot in Africa, which in this case Kenya. Hey, we have our political what do you call them?
Pundit.
Our political pundit Ali Badawi, who's gonna break it down. We're gonna go down with this, Ali. So we're coming back in just a minute. Oh, that was amazing.
Sometimes I rock and roll, sometimes I let it flow. My baby rock and roll, extend and let it flow. Praise is good for me, so do me day, me. Everything you see is everything I choose to be. It's natural in me. My head is natural in me. My head is natural in me. My head.
All right. Before we even go to our political section today, I just want to say, please, Omega was amazing. She gave us amazing information, and we need people who can partner with her, people who can fund her organization, fund the app so that they can reach all immigrants in the United States of America. So please, you can DM me if you need to talk to Omega so that you can find ways of how you can partner and work with her or fund her, because this definitely was great. This information she gave us is just too amazing, and we know that a lot of people are going to be helped. So thank you so much, Omega. Now we are here with Ali Badawi. Ali, this is my brother. He has his show, and their show is one mic, and one mic just is all political and music at the same time. But Ali, I need you because man, I don't know even where to start, because when this protest started in Kenya, both of us being from Kenya, it was chilling. But one thing I want to say, I want to actually apologize to the Gen Zs, first of all. And number one, I actually want to say I support the Gen Zs. What they're doing is needed. What they're doing is what will change Kenya for the better, and hopefully all of the African countries. But also I want to apologize to the Gen Zs on behalf of my our parents and ourselves, because we have failed the Gen Zs. It's time we really say that it's not only, the presidency, the government, but us as parents, as uncles and aunties, we have failed the Gen Z, because we are the people who turn the other side. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to say, I have a job, you're good, so why are you talking about other people struggling? So all these things that we were scared of speaking about, instead of really being there for our children now are fighting for us. It is really courageous, and shame on us. But thank you, Ali. Come on, I can't wait to hear your point of view.
Well, I don't know where to start. Anna, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right, good. I don't know where to start. Maybe I can start by just letting people know, like for your audience especially, that's not Kenyan, that maybe has not been keeping a play-by-play account of what's been happening in Kenya.
Yes.
Close to, I want to say a little over 2 weeks ago, there started being chatter online on a finance bill, which had very toxic tax policies that were taxing the cost of bread. Like a 16% tax on bread, which is a regular staple that Kenyans use.
Yes.
We're taxing, like women's sanitary products.
Yes.
They wanted to tax motor vehicles, like even if you're not using it for business.
Yes.
They wanted to slap a 2.5 tax on it. And all this was lumped into a toxic tax bill.
Yes.
That's just but a few. There was more than 200 taxes that had been laid down on this very toxic bill. Last year, they added, like a housing levy and a couple of other taxes. So they were really going to burden the Kenyan. And the goal of these taxes was to go beyond the people who have a paycheck to for the Kenya Revenue Authority to extend its clause to people who are working in the informal sector and slap them with some consumption taxes because we don't have access to their income. They were going to tax, like money transfer services. Everybody uses M-Pesa in Kenya for transactions. They were also going to tax money that was coming here from the diaspora going home. So everybody was caught up on this web.
Yes.
And what happened is that there was an original plan to just go out and protest and occupy different places. It culminated was it last Tuesday or last Tuesday? But when things have been moving so fast,
I think
don't
last
even remember
Tuesday,
dates.
but one, I think, yeah.
Yes. So that's when there was a move to go, like when now they were doing the final vote on the finance bill.
Yes.
All these young Kenyans, Gen Zs, went and surrounded Parliament.
Yes.
And that's when everything went down.
Yes.
That's when we had our January 6th moment. And because people were fed up, there were guns, there were police who were shooting. As they were shooting, people were laying down.
Yes.
And as the bullet stopped, they got up and kept moving forward. So
I
that was
you.
something like we've never seen before
Yes.
anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And long story short, later on, the president came and accused people of being treasonous criminals. But after a while, after he read the room and he realized that things are not working well, he decided to withdraw the finance bill, which we still don't know exactly what that means.
Yes.
But that's just a synopsis of what was happening. Back to you, studio, Anna.
Yes. And so thank you for giving us the synopsis. So where we are, really, we know that this movement, this protest is led by the Gen Zs. And that's why I wanted to talk about why the Gen Zs, because I feel like they have seen that we have failed to speak on their behalf. We have failed to speak on the behalf of the nation because we are seeing there is corruption. We are seeing, as you was talking about the finance bill, things that are happening. I'm hearing people talk about, oh man, we're going to be taxed on this, taxed on that, but nobody had the guts to come to the street. So tell us about more. What do you think about the Gen Zs and because this movement belongs to them. If anything, it's a revolution. It is their revolution.
Absolutely. I want to take this opportunity to first apologize to the Gen Zs.
Yes.
And thank them at the same time. At heart, Anna, you know that, personally, I've been in this fight for a very long time. Standing by myself, we've sometimes gone to the embassy to protest with 3-4 people only.
Yes.
My generation had given up, I have the swagger of a millennial, but I'll tell you, like, and my age says I'm a millennial, but I have the spirit of a Gen Z. So I want to thank the Gen Zs for coming out in unison and telling the rest of us that what you guys have done has been wrong.
Yes.
And the accumulation of what you guys have done, plus the ones who've been silent, is the reason why so many of us, meaning Gen Zs, are jobless, are hopeless, and are rudderless because they've done everything they were told to do. They went to school.
They got the degrees.
They passed the exams. They went to college. And then after they graduate in engineering, in computer science, you're telling them to go do construction work. Or you're telling them to go do jobs menial jobs in Qatar or in other parts of the Middle East.
Let's not talk even about that. Yes, and then the president was also very happy. I'm sending these people to my youth, and I'm like, that's not what we want as what you call patriots. You want to create opportunities in your own countries because these people, these students, these young people, they go out there. It's not the same. We just been talking about immigrants here in America. As much as we love working, but we miss home. There is something that you can never get if you are an immigrant living in another country when you think about family, when you think about culture. So we have to create resources. We have to create opportunities in our country because it's not only going to affect us, it's not going to promote me and my family, but the whole nation. Go ahead. I'm sorry I cut you short, but I really did like when the president was like, I have set some, the kids who are, he was mentioning that there's some kids in I think in his county or whatever area are going abroad. I'm like, that's not the dream. Keep going.
So the president missed to read the room, and these Gen Zs are very smart. They know exactly what is going on.
Yes.
And I think what was missed by the president and his communications team is that these people, they're not their parents' generation who, were just happy to get a meeting with the president or to be given a few breadcrumbs here and there.
Yes.
They're like, no. They are not asking for anything for free.
Yes.
They are telling the politicians, do your job.
Yes.
Stop stealing our money.
Yes.
Focus on legislating so that the right things can happen to create the right environment for us to get jobs. Now, this finance bill was starting from the one that was the last friendly finance bill, I think, was in 2022.
Yes.
So even the 2023 one was not good. You had a couple of manufacturers exit Kenya. And when a manufacturer is exiting Kenya, they're exiting with employment.
Yes.
They're exiting with so many other, with the capacity to manufacture that Kenya is really looking for to grow our economy.
That's true.
So this other bill was even going to be worse. All these manufacturers, all these business people, they have been in endless public participation and media forums explaining how this tax bill will affect so many things that they do and might force them to relocate to other countries. And I think, the president, his cabinet, and just his people, they completely failed to read the room. Now, this is what I want to explain to people.
Yes.
It's not like they didn't know that this tax bill was toxic.
Yes.
And that it was going to affect so many of the Gen Zs and so many other people. But the reason why they were pushing it is because they have other masters. So remember, in Kenya, there's something called budgeted corruption.
Yes.
So in order for you to be able to get your cut in budgeted corruption, because a lot of the money that we have right now is going towards paying loans, and for you to get more loans to be able to budget in your corruption, there's some conditions that the International Monetary Fund gives.
Wow.
And those are the conditions that are not helping. You remember, back in the 90s, we had something called structural adjustment programs that killed most manufacturing that was there in Kenya at the time. In Kenya, we used to manufacture textiles. We used to manufacture so many different things. East African industries used to manufacture so many different things. But those programs, they failed. So all these programs that come from the IMF, they have failed. They have profited a few people inside the IMF and a few of the politicians who want to carve out some of that money that we get in loans to budget in what they can eat from that budgeted corruption.
Yes.
But the people who've been losing is the regular mwananchi.
Yes.
You know, like the Gen Zs. And these young people now, there's a whole big population that had no hope, you know, like of ever finding employment or ever finding anything meaningful based on what they've spent all their lives studying.
Yeah.
So this is a very sad situation. And what the Gen Zs did hit the political system like a loud thunderclap.
Yes.
And I'm very happy that that happened. And I want all the other people you're interviewing, your other friends from Zimbabwe, from Tanzania, from all other countries to understand that we are exporting this to other African countries. This is just starting in Kenya. We know they are watching us and we are exporting this. I've already been on a number of shows from the Haitian community.
Yes.
We are working with a group of people that have been on Caribbean shows. So we are exporting this. We saw the mistakes that happened during the Arab Spring.
Yes.
We are not going to repeat those mistakes. So we are exporting this to other African countries.
Yes.
Because when all this happens across Africa, when this revolution goes, this economic revolution goes across Africa, then we're going to start having the lives that we deserve. Back to you, Studio.
And you know what I wanted to say? There are so many things I like about the Gen Zs in Kenya. Number one, the fact that they are tribeless, they are partyless, and what is the other one?
They are leaderless.
They are leaderless. The fact I want to talk about, and that's why we are apologizing, is because we were raised to be very tribal because of what was going on with the system, you know. It was about, you know, okay, if the president is Kikuyu, then the Kikuyu people will benefit. If the president is Kalenjin, the Kalenjins will be. If the president is Luo. So there was a book, actually, I'd never read it, called Our Time to Eat. So tribes felt like they have to vote for a person who's their tribesmen, so that it is their time to eat, so that they can be corruption, where they can get jobs without even being interviewed and all this kind of stuff. But these students, these Gen Zs are saying enough of that. No more tribalism, because tribalism, it kills the economy, it kills the country. So that's the one thing. We were raised with that, and they are saying that enough is enough. And thank you, because really tribalism is if I may call it, it is an evil, it is a sin. And then when it comes to partyless, I like it because they cannot really be bought, you know. They have been trying to buy them from different parties, but these students, or these young people, if I may call them, are saying, you know what, you all have failed. You all went there, turned a blind eye when things were happening. You all got your you know what you call your allowances and kept quiet. You all got your loans and kept quiet. Even from the beginning of when we got independence, there was so much that was going on that was not bringing the country to the right direction, because our systems were broken, and they are still broken. And they are saying, let's fix the system. Because honestly, if the system is fixed, whereby if you are caught with any corruption, you are fired, you go to court, and all this kind of stuff, then we will not, the Gen Z will not be here on the street protesting, because the system has failed. So I really think it's time for us to just clean house and focus on structures that can make sure that our country and many developing countries in Africa do not go through corruption and keep saying again, oh, you know, when this happens. No, we need to, every system needs to work. If I go today to get a driver's license, I don't need to bribe somebody to get that driver's license. If I want to go to a bid for a tender, I don't need to know somebody. My paperwork, my work, my credibility should speak for itself. And this is what the Gen Zs are asking. They want a system that can work for everyone. And that's one thing that I'm so proud of them, because also I remember when I was growing up, and you know, I lived in Langata, but Kibera is not very far from me. And you sometimes go through the, you know, the vichochoros, and you're in Toy buying your you're buying your second-hand clothes or whatever it is. Then you come back in Langata, passing those shanties to your home. And it used to bother me. As a kid, I used to say, I feel like it's not fair. Something is not fair in this world. But we kept a blind eye, because I went to a good school. I got, things. I had food on my table. But these kids are saying, just like Malcolm X is saying, if none of us is free, if not all of us are free. So you see kids from Kileleshwa and from Kibera meeting together at the parliament to say, you know what, we need a system that works for us. And that's one thing that I really love about the Gen Zs. My prayer, just like you said, Ali, is that let it not fizzle out like the Arab Spring. Let changes happen. So what do you think the Gen Zs need to do so that it's just not a moment, but it is a real revolution?
So the Gen Zs are in the right place. The people we need to talk to are the millennials are also fairly in the right place. Myself, like I'm on the older side of the millennials. I'm closer to being a Gen X.
Yes.
But I think the work needs to be done on Gen Xers and on boomers.
Yes.
Because until today, I'm still seeing people trying to discredit these Gen Zs. Like today the president was forced to go onto X Spaces where the Gen Zs have been organizing and have been talking about these issues.
Yes.
And I can still hear, like a hint of, like Gen Xers and some boomers saying that, oh, the president was, they did not make an impression on the president and stuff like that. And I was telling them, guess what? Like this is a historical moment. People don't realize it. This is a moment that people will be reading in the books of history, not only in Kenya, but across Africa.
Yes.
This revolution, because it has changed the basic equation from it's the monarchy who has to make an impression on the president to it's the president who has to make an impression on us.
Yes.
And that's where I think the work needs to be done, because the Gen Zs have a plan of any of the parents who are planning to vote in these people who've been stealing and these people who've been engaging in corruption. They will just have a plan to steal their identity documents mysteriously during voting time so that they don't go to the polls. Because this, our politics has been organized in a tribal fashion, where even people who are not necessarily tribal are forced to vote in a tribal way during politics because of fear of the other. And I think this is our turning point. I would advise the Gen Zs to keep up the same energy. Of course, the government has been trying to infiltrate them, separate them, but it's been very difficult with this format that they're using. Like I want to tell them to keep pushing and figure out the 197 other ways to protest, because it looks like the government is cracking down on these street protests. But I would still, like not mind them going out in the streets whenever possible. But with this government, you have to surprise them. You cannot be announcing a week in advance. You have to surprise them, and that's when like they will comply with our demands. We've had our own protests here in the diaspora. We've had 2 so far at the Kenyan embassy, and we're also planning to have another one at the International Monetary Fund. I believe tentatively it's on the 21st on Sunday, and I am officially inviting you, Anna.
I will come if I am available.
We're putting it on record.
Yes.
We are putting it on record so that it's on record so that everybody hears. I'm inviting you, and hopefully we'll also keep our pressure out here in the US, touching on American entities that are enabling President William Ruto enforce these toxic tax policies, because Ruto must go, and all the people who are enabling him enforce these tax policies, these toxic tax policies that are making our Gen Z suffer, they all must go. One of them is American, the US ambassador to Kenya. Her name is Meg, like we've baptized her, Jepchirchir Whitman. She also has to go because of the things that she's been doing. Like there's quite a number of entities out here in the US who have some explaining to do. There were 7 members of the US Congress who are in Kenya's parliament. They need to answer. Maybe it was just a coincidence. Maybe they were just going to Masai Mara and then they decided to stop by the parliament when the finance bill was being debated. But we want them to release an unredacted report to tell us what exactly they were doing there when a very contentious finance bill is being debated. So we are working on that, and I will brief you more on that, Anna. So of course this is an unofficial invite. It's on record, Anna. Back to you in studio.
Ali's putting my feet to the fire. But this is amazing what you're talking about, because even the information you're just mentioning about those 7 U.S. representatives who are in the parliament, I did not even know they were there. But going back to one thing that before we finish end the show today is, okay, if you ask me what should the Gen Z ask for now, I'm telling you, I think structural adjustments, just that the systems. Forget the leader. We can have a yellow leader, blue leader, whatever, it don't matter up there. But if the systems can work in Kenya, whereby in Kenya revenue, you don't have to bribe or your passport or whatever place you are, you can go get what you need. And even have social services that cater for people, like they were saying, Linda Mama, Kazi kwa Vijana, all these things that really can bring the not only the government, but the people to a place whereby I'm comfortable, I'm comfortable. So if I'm comfortable, I don't need to worry. And everybody around me is comfortable because it's an issue of Ubuntu. What was going on with some of we call them MPs, they are so comfortable, even though they don't realize people around them. In village, how can you build how many 10-story house, for example, while your neighbor is living in a thatchy house? That's the thing that these leaders were not getting, that one day it was going to come and bite them. But the Gen Zs have empathy. They realize that, you know what, for us to succeed, we all have to succeed. What do they say? If you want to go alone, go. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go farther, go with others. And that's what they're doing. They are telling us it's time for us to depend on ourselves and not the Western world. They're saying that we can do it. We have the resources, we have the capacity, we have the brains, we have all what we need. And if you can't take it, move out the way. It won't be like that. So move, get out of the way, But for finishing, I want to ask you, Ali, can President Ruto serve his presidency? Because I'm thinking there's hope where he can save it. Can he really save it?
Now, because this is an African show, and you doing African proverbs,
yes,
there's an African proverb that I'm gonna remix.
Yes.
I don't know whether the hangers will be happy with me for remixing it, just to reflect this situation that's happening in Kenya.
Yeah.
But before I remix that proverb, you had asked, like what is required of the Gen Zs at the moment. There's certain immediate goals they've outlined there, because right now, as older millennials, as Gen Xers, and even as boomers, we have to listen to them.
Yes.
Because they started this, they had a plan. So this is the time, because of what the rest had been doing was not working.
Yes.
And what they've done has spectacularly worked within a very short. So we need our Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission reconstituted. Remember, after the last disputed election, we don't have a commission. So we can't even hold any elections.
Wow.
There's some constituencies where the members of parliament died. They've stayed without a member of parliament. So that's the most immediate thing that that needs to be taken care of. Second, our 2010 constitution, through the wisdom of those who wrote it, gave us an option for a recall. The members of parliament had kind of neutralized that clause in the constitution, but the High Court threw that neutralization out. So now, 2 years from when these MPs were elected, which the time is going to be August of 2024, which is just a month, less than 2 months away, is that we can open process for recalling members of parliament.
I think
so.
Yes.
So some of these members of parliament. So that's going to be an immediate thing.
Yes.
All these members of parliament who voted yes. The specific ones that we're going to be picking on. Like we need to get out like at least 50 of them to snatch the majority away from the president, so that even if he stays, he will not be able to do what he's been doing with all these members of parliament that he's bought. I'm going to mention two because they're in the arts industry. And here in the arts and entertainment industry, Anna, you need to go talk to some of your friends.
Okay.
Because there is a tendency of politicians liking to use people in the arts industry.
That's true.
One of them was a very famous comedian of ridiculous fame, John Kerry, who used to act Kamodo, but became a modern day Kamodo. So John Kerry, he must go. He must be one of the members of parliament too, because he was lying in parliament that the pictures of protests were actually photoshopped and posted online.
Read that.
Yes. So John Kerry must go. Another, another member of parliament who must go is the owner of SportsPesa. He's called Ronald Kamwiko Karauri. Kamwiko is his real name. akule mwiko. Kamwiko must go. Yes. So we are gonna prepare a list. A list is being prepared of at least 55. ODM has already, said that they will initiate recall for their 5 of their members of parliament who voted yes. So there's quite a number. Kimani Chungwa, who I baptized as Kimani Machungwa, he must go. Ndindi Nyoro, who I baptized as Ndindi Nyororo, he must go. So all these people must go, so as to send a strong message to these other members of parliament who be paid by the president to vote the way he wants, that if you continue doing this, you will go. So real quick, the proverb, before we forget. The proverb, methali kwa Kiswahili. They normally say, the methali normally goes, dua la kuku halimpati mwewe. But I am going to remix it this time to dua la kuku limempata mwewe. Na kuku, hata staita kuku ndo ita majogo, ni hawa majenzis, because ni majogo. Na kuku, ni huyu Rais William Ruto, who must go. Even if he doesn't go, he should be neutralized to a point that he will not be able to continue what he's been doing to Kenyans, because people have reached against the wall. Diaspora, you have to send so much money to do basic stuff that the Kenyan government is supposed to doing, like pay for education, pay for healthcare. So if they can't take care of this soon, they all must go. Back to you in studio.
I am going to end the show here and this part of the show by saying, this guy, I remember when people were saying, when Raila was campaigning and people were saying Canaan tutafika, Raila's slogan was tutafika Canaan, and one guy said commented, Canaan tutafika lakini tutakuwa tumechoka. So tutafika lakini tutakuwa tumechoka. Thank you, Ali, so much. This was amazing. We'll keep having this conversation, and I just want to say thank you to all the guests. Thank you to Omega, and also you can find Ali on the One Mic Show every Friday. They took a break, but every Friday they're on the One Mic Show. Just Google on YouTube One Mic Show and you will get them, and their show is amazing because they got some interesting stuff, and definitely there are really politicians in there, so they will break everything down. I want to end to say today by saying thank you for giving us an opportunity to be here. Thank you for listening to us wherever you are. This is Mama Africa Show. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. I'm out.